Question 1. A newly formed Agile team is struggling with frequent changes to user story priorities mid-sprint, leading to missed sprint goals and demoralization. The product owner asserts their right to adjust the backlog as needed, while the development team feels their work is constantly disrupted. As the project manager acting as a servant leader, what is the most appropriate action to address this situation? A. Escalate the issue to senior management to enforce a strict change control process for the product owner. B. Coach the product owner on the importance of stable sprint backlogs and the impact of mid-sprint changes on team predictability and morale. C. Direct the development team to work overtime to accommodate the changes, emphasizing the importance of meeting customer demands. D. Implement a formal change request process for any mid-sprint changes, requiring approval from all team members. Answer: B. Coach the product owner on the importance of stable sprint backlogs and the impact of mid-sprint changes on team predictability and morale. The most appropriate action for a servant leader in an Agile context is to coach the team members to understand Agile principles and improve their processes. A stable sprint backlog is crucial for an Agile team's focus and predictability. Frequent mid-sprint changes disrupt flow and negatively impact morale and sprint goals. By coaching the product owner, the project manager facilitates a deeper understanding of Agile commitments and helps the team self-organize for better outcomes. Remember, a servant leader enables the team and stakeholders through guidance and education, rather than imposing external controls or dictating solutions. Question 2. During a sprint review, stakeholders express concern that the product increment, while functional, lacks a clear cohesive design and consistent user experience across different features. The development team argues they focused on delivering working functionality as per the definition of done. What is the most agile way to address this feedback? A. Create a separate, design backlog item and schedule a dedicated sprint for it in the future. B. Engage a UI/UX specialist to immediately join the team and enforce design standards for subsequent sprints. C. Incorporate user experience, UX, considerations into the definition of done and potentially into future sprint planning discussions. D. Prioritize only user interface, UI, related stories for the next few sprints to rectify the perceived design issues. Answer: C. Incorporate user experience, UX, considerations into the definition of done and potentially into future sprint planning discussions. In Agile, the definition of done, DoD, is a shared understanding of what it means for work to be complete, ensuring quality and preventing technical debt. When new quality concerns, like consistent user experience, arise, the most effective Agile approach is to evolve the DoD to include these aspects. This makes UX a mandatory part of future increments, integrating quality from the outset rather than treating it as an afterthought. This ensures continuous improvement and shared ownership, making done truly mean ready for release in a comprehensive sense. Question 3. A large, complex project using a hybrid Agile approach is experiencing significant delays in obtaining necessary approvals from external regulatory bodies. The project team has delivered several functional increments, but deployment is blocked by these external dependencies. As the project manager, what should be your primary focus to mitigate this risk? A. Revert to a predictive waterfall approach for the remaining regulatory compliance activities to ensure strict adherence to deadlines. B. Empower the Agile team to self-organize and directly engage with regulatory bodies to expedite approvals. C. Implement a robust communication plan with regulatory bodies, providing frequent updates and proactively addressing their concerns, while continuing iterative development. D. Freeze product development until all regulatory approvals are secured to avoid rework. Answer: C. Implement a robust communication plan with regulatory bodies, providing frequent updates and proactively addressing their concerns, while continuing iterative development. In a hybrid Agile environment, effectively managing external dependencies and risks is critical, especially when dealing with regulatory bodies. The most effective approach is to proactively engage and communicate with these external stakeholders to build trust, share progress, and address their concerns early. While the team continues its iterative development, managing the external interface helps unblock potential deployment issues, demonstrating adaptive planning and stakeholder engagement. This balances the agility of the development work with the necessary external coordination. Question 4. An Agile team consistently struggles to accurately estimate the effort required for user stories, leading to volatile velocity metrics and difficulties in sprint planning. The Scrum Master has facilitated several estimation sessions, but the problem persists. What is the most appropriate next step for the Scrum Master? A. Mandate the use of story points and remove any team member who consistently provides outliers in estimation. B. Introduce the team to estimation techniques like affinity estimation or planning poker, and coach them on breaking down large stories. C. Take over the estimation process personally to ensure accurate figures for sprint planning. D. Recommend bringing in an external expert to perform all future story estimations for the team. Answer. B. Introduce the team to estimation techniques like affinity estimation or planning poker, and coach them on breaking down large stories. Estimation accuracy in Agile teams improves with practice, shared understanding, and effective techniques. The Scrum Master's role is to facilitate and coach, helping the team improve its processes, not to dictate or take over responsibilities. Introducing techniques like planning poker or affinity estimation, along with guidance on breaking down larger work items, empowers the team to collaborate, discuss complexity, and arrive at more reliable estimates collectively. This approach fosters self-organization and continuous improvement within the team's capabilities. Question 5. During a daily stand-up, a team member consistently reports being blocked by another team member who is perceived as not pulling their weight, causing tension. The Scrum Master observes this pattern over several days. What is the best approach for the Scrum Master to resolve this issue? A. Publicly call out the underperforming team member during the daily stand-up to encourage accountability. B. Facilitate a private conversation between the two team members after the daily stand-up to help them resolve their conflict directly. C. Reassign the blocked team member to a different task to bypass the dependency. D. Escalate the issue immediately to functional management for disciplinary action against the underperforming team member. Answer. B. Facilitate a private conversation between the two team members after the daily stand-up to help them resolve their conflict directly. A Scrum Master acts as a servant leader and impediment remover, but also as a coach and facilitator of team self-organization. When interpersonal conflicts or blockages arise, the best approach is to help the team members resolve their issues independently, fostering psychological safety and empowering them to communicate effectively. A private conversation, facilitated by the Scrum Master, provides a safe space for dialogue without public shaming, allowing the team to work through their challenges and strengthen their collaborative skills. This approach encourages self-management and reinforces trust within the team. Question 6. An organization is transitioning to Agile, and the project manager is tasked with establishing a new Agile team. One of the key challenges is that team members have traditionally worked in functional silos. What characteristic is most vital for the project manager to foster in the new team to ensure Agile success? A. Strong individual specialization in specific technical areas. B. Reliance on a centralized project management office for decision-making. C. Cross-functionality and self-organization. D. Strict adherence to predefined, detailed individual work plans. Answer. C. Cross-functionality and self-organization. For an Agile team to be effective, it must be cross-functional, meaning it possesses all the skills necessary to deliver value without external dependencies. Simultaneously, self-organization is crucial, empowering the team to determine the best way to accomplish its work. Moving from functional silos to a cross-functional, self-organizing model is fundamental to Agile success, allowing the team to adapt quickly, share knowledge, and deliver increments efficiently. Fostering these characteristics enables the team to collectively own the delivery process and achieve its goals. Question 7. A product owner is struggling to prioritize the product backlog, as multiple stakeholders have conflicting demands and each insists their features are the most critical. This is leading to analysis paralysis and delaying sprint planning. What is the most effective Agile technique for the product owner to employ in this situation? A. Conduct a formal stakeholder analysis to identify the most influential stakeholders and prioritize only their demands. B. Utilize a value-driven prioritization method like Moscow, weighted shortest job first, WSJF, or Kano model to objectively rank backlog items. C. Defer all conflicting features to a later release until a consensus can be reached by senior management. D. Assign each conflicting stakeholder a specific sprint to have their features prioritized. Answer. B. Utilize a value-driven prioritization method like Moscow, weighted shortest job first, WSJF, or Kano model to objectively rank backlog items. Effective product backlog prioritization is central to Agile success, ensuring the team consistently delivers the most valuable features. When faced with conflicting stakeholder demands, relying on subjective opinions is ineffective. Instead, the product owner should employ objective, value-driven prioritization techniques. Methods such as Moscow, must have, should have, could have, won't have, WSJF, which considers cost of delay and job size, or the Kano model, focusing on customer satisfaction, help quantify and compare the value of different features, facilitating data-driven decisions and aligning stakeholders around a common understanding of priority. These techniques allow the product owner to articulate the rationale behind decisions and optimize for maximum value delivery. Question 8. A project manager is overseeing a new product development project using an Agile approach. The team has just completed their second sprint, but during the sprint review, several key stakeholders expressed dissatisfaction with the product's overall direction, stating it doesn't align with their strategic vision. What is the most appropriate Agile response to this feedback? A. Defend the team's progress by showing how all committed stories were completed according to the definition of done. B. Revisit the product vision and roadmap with key stakeholders and the team to ensure alignment and adjust future sprint goals. C. Formally document the stakeholder complaints and create a change request for each dissatisfaction point. D. Instruct the team to focus solely on bug fixes for the next sprint until the stakeholders' concerns are resolved. Answer. B. Revisit the product vision and roadmap with key stakeholders and the team to ensure alignment and adjust future sprint goals. In Agile, the sprint review is an inspect and adapt event where the team and stakeholders collaborate on the increment and adapt the product backlog as needed. When strategic misalignment occurs, it indicates a disconnect between the delivered product and the overall product vision or stakeholder expectations. The most effective Agile response is to proactively engage stakeholders and the team to re-establish a shared understanding of the product vision and roadmap, using this feedback to guide future development and ensure value delivery. This fosters continuous alignment and adaptability, which are core tenets of Agile. Question 9. During a sprint retrospective, the team identifies that a significant amount of time is being lost due to repetitive manual testing. They propose investing time in developing automated tests. What is the most appropriate action for the Scrum Master regarding this proposal? A. Direct the product owner to immediately add automate tests as a high-priority item to the product backlog for the next sprint. B. Facilitate a discussion within the team to determine how much time they can dedicate to test automation within their next sprint's capacity, balancing it with feature development. C. Advise the team that test automation is an operational concern and should be handled by a separate quality assurance department. D. Reject the proposal, stating that automation adds overhead and slows down feature delivery in the short term. Answer. B. Facilitate a discussion within the team to determine how much time they can dedicate to test automation within their next sprint's capacity, balancing it with feature development. The sprint retrospective is an opportunity for the team to inspect its processes and identify improvements, such as addressing technical debt or improving efficiency. Test automation is a classic example of an improvement that enhances long-term quality and speed. The Scrum Master's role is to facilitate the team's self-organization and empower them to make decisions about their work. By guiding the team to allocate capacity for the improvement while still delivering features, the Scrum Master enables continuous improvement and balanced value delivery, respecting the team's autonomy to manage their technical practices. Question 10. A product owner is struggling with an overwhelming product backlog that has grown to hundreds of items, making it difficult to maintain and prioritize effectively. The team frequently pulls stories that are not fully understood or refined. What Agile practice should the product owner focus on to improve this situation? A. Delegating product backlog management entirely to the development team. B. Implementing a strict, no new features, policy for the next few sprints. C. Engaging in continuous product backlog refinement, focusing on just-in-time preparation of upcoming items. D. Requiring all stakeholders to submit feature requests through a formal, documented change control process. Answer: C. Engaging in continuous product backlog refinement, focusing on just-in-time preparation of upcoming items. An overly large and unrefined product backlog is a common challenge that hinders Agile team effectiveness. Product backlog refinement, also known as backlog grooming or detailing, is an ongoing activity where the product owner and the development team collaborate to add detail, estimates, and order to backlog items. By focusing on just-in-time refinement of items that are likely to be addressed in upcoming sprints, the product owner ensures that the most valuable work is well understood, estimated, and ready for development, reducing waste and improving predictability. This practice keeps the backlog manageable and actionable. Question 11. An Agile project team has been consistently missing their sprint goals for the past 3 sprints, despite putting in extra hours. The burn-down chart shows a flat line for several days during each sprint, followed by a frantic rush at the end. As the project manager, what is the most likely underlying issue and how should it be addressed? A. The team is undercommitting, and the project manager should assign more work to them. B. The product owner is not available enough, and the project manager should mandate daily availability. C. The definition of done is unclear or too lax, leading to incomplete work being considered done. This should be addressed by inspecting and adapting the definition of done in the next retrospective. D. Impediments are not being addressed promptly, suggesting the Scrum Master needs to improve their impediment removal skills. This should be discussed with the Scrum Master. Answer: D. Impediments are not being addressed promptly, suggesting the Scrum Master needs to improve their impediment removal skills. This should be discussed with the Scrum Master. Consistent failure to meet sprint goals, coupled with a flat burn-down chart and end-of-sprint rush, often indicates that the team is encountering significant impediments that are not being resolved quickly. The Scrum Master's primary role is to ensure impediments to the development team's progress are removed. This pattern suggests the Scrum Master might be struggling in this crucial aspect of their role. Discussing this observation with the Scrum Master, offering coaching, or facilitating improvement in their impediment removal process is the most effective approach for a project manager acting as a servant leader. Question 12. A project team is developing a highly innovative product where requirements are expected to evolve significantly throughout its lifecycle. The organization has a traditional contracting department that prefers fixed-price, detailed scope agreements. As the project manager, what contracting strategy would you recommend to best align with the Agile approach for this project? A. A fixed-price contract with a very detailed scope of work, SOW, to ensure cost control. B. A time and materials, TNM, contract with a cap, focusing on collaboration and adaptability. C. A cost-plus fixed-fee contract, shifting all risk to the customer due to the uncertain nature. D. A firm fixed-price contract with incentives for early delivery of all features. Answer: B. A time and materials, TNM, contract with a cap, focusing on collaboration and adaptability. For projects with evolving requirements and high uncertainty, Agile principles advocate for adaptive approaches, and traditional fixed-price contracts can be counterproductive as they discourage change. A time and materials, TNM, contract aligns well with Agile by allowing flexibility in scope and encouraging close collaboration between the buyer and seller as requirements emerge. Adding a cap provides a level of cost control for the buyer, making it a balanced approach that supports iterative development and allows for scope adjustments based on delivered value, rather than locking into an upfront, detailed plan. Question 13. A project manager is leading an Agile project where the customer frequently changes their mind about features that are already in development or even done. This leads to significant rework and frustration for the team. What is the most effective Agile principle to reinforce with the customer to manage this situation? A. The principle of responding to change over following a plan. B. The principle of working software is the primary measure of progress. C. The principle of sustainable pace. D. The principle of late changes in requirements are welcome. Answer: D. The principle of late changes in requirements are welcome. While all Agile principles are important, the situation described directly relates to the principle, welcome changing requirements, even late in development. Agile processes harness change for the customer's competitive advantage. However, the key is harnessing change. The project manager needs to educate the customer on the cost implications of changes once work is in progress or completed, and guide them on prioritizing changes effectively. This principle encourages collaboration and adaptation, but also implies understanding the cost of such changes and making informed decisions about them, ideally prioritizing new changes into future iterations rather than disrupting current work. Question 14. An Agile team is performing well, consistently delivering increments, but the product owner feels disconnected from the technical details and struggles to answer stakeholder questions about implementation specifics. The development team is highly technical and doesn't always explain things in business terms. What is the most effective way for the Scrum Master to bridge this communication gap? A. Recommend that the product owner attend all technical design meetings and reviews. B. Schedule regular, product owner sync meetings where the development team provides detailed technical briefings. C. Coach the development team on the importance of explaining technical concepts in business value terms during sprint reviews and daily interactions. D. Appoint a dedicated technical liaison from the development team to work directly with the product owner. Answer: C. Coach the development team on the importance of explaining technical concepts in business value terms during sprint reviews and daily interactions. The Scrum Master's role involves coaching the team to improve communication and collaboration. In this scenario, the issue is not a lack of access to information for the product owner, but rather the way information is presented. By coaching the development team to articulate technical concepts in terms of business value, the Scrum Master helps bridge the communication gap, enabling the product owner to better understand and convey the product's details to stakeholders. This approach fosters cross-functional understanding and improves overall team effectiveness, aligning with the Agile principle of strong collaboration. Question 15. A senior stakeholder on an Agile project insists on seeing a detailed, multi-year project schedule and budget up front, despite the project's inherent uncertainty and frequent changes. The project manager understands the need for adaptive planning. How should the project manager best respond to this stakeholder's request while adhering to Agile principles? A. Decline the request outright, stating that Agile projects do not use detailed schedules. B. Provide a high-level roadmap with forecasted milestones for upcoming releases, explaining that detailed plans will emerge over time through iterative planning. C. Create a traditional Gantt chart for the entire multi-year period, but explain it is subject to frequent change. D. Postpone the project start until a comprehensive, fixed plan can be developed and approved. Answer: B. Provide a high-level roadmap with forecasted milestones for upcoming releases, explaining that detailed plans will emerge over time through iterative planning. Agile embraces adaptive planning, recognizing that detailed, long-term plans are ineffective in highly uncertain environments. However, stakeholders often require some level of foresight for strategic planning. The best approach is to provide a high-level product roadmap, indicating forecasted major features and releases over a longer horizon. Simultaneously, the project manager should explain that the granular details will emerge through iterative planning, e.g., release planning, sprint planning, as the project progresses and more information becomes available. This balances stakeholder need for foresight with Agile principles of adaptability and just-in-time planning. Question 16. A team using Scrum consistently finds that their definition of done, DoD, is being partially met for some stories, leading to accumulating, undone, work at the end of sprints. This work then spills over into subsequent sprints, impacting predictability. As the project manager acting as a coach, what is the most effective approach? A. Tell the team they must meet the DoD perfectly or face consequences. B. Facilitate a discussion in the sprint retrospective to understand why the DoD is not being met and collaboratively identify actionable improvements. C. Lower the expectations for the DoD to make it easier for the team to achieve. D. Remove the items that are not truly done from the increment and re-add them to the product backlog for the product owner to prioritize. Answer. B. Facilitate a discussion in the sprint retrospective to understand why the DoD is not being met and collaboratively identify actionable improvements. The definition of done, DoD, ensures quality and transparency in Agile. If it's not consistently met, it's a team process issue that needs inspection and adaptation. The sprint retrospective is the ideal forum for the team to self-inspect their processes, including their adherence to the DoD. As a coach, the project manager should facilitate this discussion, helping the team collaboratively identify the root causes, e.g., overcommitment, skill gaps, technical debt, and come up with concrete, actionable improvements to ensure the DoD is consistently met in future sprints. This empowers the team to improve their own effectiveness. Question 17. The project sponsor for an Agile project requests a detailed explanation of the project's current status, beyond what the standard burn-down and burn-up charts provide. They are particularly interested in future predictability and remaining scope. Which Agile artifact or metric would be most helpful in providing this information? A. The sprint backlog, to show the work committed for the current iteration. B. The product backlog, ordered and refined, along with a forecast of likely future velocity. C. A detailed Gantt chart showing dependencies and critical path. D. The team's daily stand-up notes for the past week. Answer. B. The product backlog, ordered and refined, along with a forecast of likely future velocity. For future predictability and remaining scope in an Agile context, the product backlog, which represents the entire known body of work, is the primary source of information. When combined with the team's historical velocity, their rate of delivering done work, it allows for a forecast of how long it might take to complete the remaining backlog items. This provides a pragmatic, adaptive view of the project's trajectory and remaining scope, allowing stakeholders to understand the product's likely evolution without relying on rigid, upfront plans. Question 18. A project team is practicing Agile but reports that they are spending a lot of time in meetings and documentation, leaving less time for actual development. This is leading to team fatigue and slower feature delivery. As the project manager, what Agile value should you emphasize to help the team refocus? A. Individuals and interactions over processes and tools. B. Working software over comprehensive documentation. C. Customer collaboration over contract negotiation. D. Responding to change over following a plan. Answer. B. Working software over comprehensive documentation. The scenario directly describes an imbalance where too much effort is being spent on non-value-adding activities like excessive documentation and meetings, at the expense of creating functional software. This directly contradicts the Agile manifesto value of working software over comprehensive documentation. As the project manager, emphasizing this value would guide the team to prioritize the creation of demonstrable, functional software over the creation of extensive, potentially unnecessary documents, thereby reducing waste and focusing on what truly delivers value to the customer. Question 19. A key technical impediment has arisen that the development team cannot resolve on their own, requiring external expert consultation. The Scrum Master has brought it to the attention of the project manager, who is acting in a servant leadership capacity. What is the most appropriate action for the project manager? A. Direct the development team to stop all work until the impediment is resolved by the external expert. B. Take immediate ownership of coordinating and securing the external expert, shielding the team from the bureaucratic process. C. Advise the Scrum Master to resolve the impediment themselves, as it's their primary responsibility. D. Facilitate the connection between the Scrum Master and the necessary organizational channels or experts, empowering the Scrum Master to lead the resolution. Answer: D. Facilitate the connection between the Scrum Master and the necessary organizational channels or experts, empowering the Scrum Master to lead the resolution. As a servant leader, the project manager's role is to support the Scrum Master and the team in removing impediments, not necessarily to remove every impediment personally. For a significant external dependency, the most appropriate action is to empower the Scrum Master by facilitating the necessary connections and providing organizational support to help them navigate the resolution process. This upholds the Scrum Master's accountability for impediment removal while leveraging the project manager's broader organizational influence, fostering growth and self-sufficiency within the Agile roles. Question 20. A distributed Agile team across multiple time zones is experiencing communication challenges, leading to misunderstandings and delays. Daily stand-ups are difficult to schedule, and informal communication is sparse. What is the most effective strategy to improve communication and collaboration in this scenario? A. Mandate that all team members adjust their working hours to overlap significantly, regardless of personal convenience. B. Implement a strict, documented communication plan with scheduled formal meetings to cover all information sharing. C. Utilize a variety of communication tools, e.g., video conferencing, chat, collaborative whiteboards, and establish clear norms for asynchronous and synchronous communication. D. Appoint a dedicated communication manager to relay all messages between time zones. Answer: C. Utilize a variety of communication tools, e.g., video conferencing, chat, collaborative whiteboards, and establish clear norms for asynchronous and synchronous communication. Effective communication is paramount for distributed Agile teams. While adjusting hours can help, a more sustainable and flexible approach involves leveraging technology and establishing clear communication norms. Using a blend of synchronous tools, like video conferencing for stand-ups and reviews, and asynchronous tools, like chat, wikis, and collaborative whiteboards for ongoing discussions and documentation, can bridge geographical gaps. Crucially, defining when to use each tool and setting expectations for response times helps overcome time zone challenges and ensures information flows effectively. This fosters strong team interaction regardless of location. Question 21. An Agile project has been running for several months, and the team has successfully delivered multiple increments. However, the technical debt is starting to accumulate, leading to slower development time and increased bug reports. The product owner prioritizes new features heavily, and the development team feels pressure to deliver. What is the most appropriate approach for the project manager to address this? A. Insist the product owner allocate a specific percentage of each sprint for technical debt reduction, regardless of feature priority. B. Educate the product owner and stakeholders on the long-term impact of technical debt on velocity and quality, advocating for its prioritization in the product backlog. C. create a separate, technical debt team to resolve all existing and future technical debt. D. Require the development team to work extra hours to resolve technical debt without impacting feature delivery. Answer: B. Educate the product owner and stakeholders on the long-term impact of technical debt on velocity and quality, advocating for its prioritization in the product backlog. Technical debt is a critical issue in Agile projects that, if left unaddressed, will severely impact future velocity and product quality. The project manager, in a servant leadership role, should facilitate understanding among all stakeholders, especially the product owner, about the long-term consequences of technical debt. By articulating its impact on the team's ability to deliver new features efficiently and maintain quality, the project manager can advocate for technical debt items to be prioritized within the product backlog alongside new features, ensuring a balanced approach to value delivery and product health. Question 22. The project manager on an Agile project notices that the product owner frequently adds new, high-priority user stories directly into the ongoing sprint without consulting the development team, leading to scope creep and missed commitments. The product owner justifies this by saying the market is dynamic. What is the project manager's best course of action? A. Remind the product owner that once a sprint starts, its scope is fixed and cannot be changed without the team's explicit agreement. B. Coach the product owner on the concept of scope stability within a sprint and the importance of protecting the development team's focus. C. Escalate the issue to the product owner's functional manager for intervention. D. Instruct the development team to refuse any new stories added mid-sprint by the product owner. Answer: B. Coach the product owner on the concept of scope stability within a sprint and the importance of protecting the development team's focus. In Scrum, once a sprint begins, the sprint backlog is considered committed and stable. While the product owner has the authority to manage the product backlog, injecting new items mid-sprint without team consultation disrupts flow, impacts predictability, and can demoralize the team. The most effective approach for a project manager acting as a coach is to educate the product owner on the importance of sprint stability and its benefits for team focus and reliable delivery. This coaching helps the product owner understand their role in protecting the sprint and leveraging Agile principles for better outcomes, fostering a collaborative solution. Question 23. An Agile team recently conducted a sprint retrospective and identified a recurring issue. They are often blocked by external team dependencies, specifically waiting for input from another department. The team proposed creating a shared service agreement with that department. As the project manager, how should you best support this initiative? A. Instruct the team to handle the external department on their own, as they are self-organizing. B. Take immediate ownership of drafting and negotiating the service agreement, shielding the team from external interactions. C. Facilitate introductions and discussions between the team and the external department's leadership to establish the agreement. D. Advise the team to simply deprioritize any stories dependent on the external department. Answer: C. Facilitate introductions and discussions between the team and the external department's leadership to establish the agreement. When a self-organizing Agile team identifies a systemic impediment, especially one involving external departments, the project manager's role as a servant leader is to enable their resolution. Facilitating introductions and discussions leverages the project manager's broader organizational influence to remove barriers beyond the team's direct control. This empowers the team to solve their own problems while providing the necessary support and resources, rather than taking over or abandoning the issue. It's about enabling, not dictating, the solution. Question 24. A newly formed Agile team is struggling with frequent disagreements during sprint planning, leading to prolonged discussions and delays in starting development work. The team members are highly skilled but come from diverse technical backgrounds and have different opinions on how to approach tasks. What is the best strategy for the Scrum Master to address this? A. Implement a strict time box for all sprint planning discussions to force quicker decisions. B. Encourage the team to adopt a definition of ready for user stories to ensure clarity before planning. C. Facilitate techniques like relative estimation, e.g., planning poker, and emphasize collaborative decision-making to build consensus. D. Appoint a technical lead to make final decisions on task breakdowns during sprint planning. Answer: C. Facilitate techniques like relative estimation, e.g., planning poker, and emphasize collaborative decision-making to build consensus. Disagreements during sprint planning are often a sign of diverse perspectives, which can be beneficial if managed constructively. The Scrum Master's role is to facilitate team collaboration and consensus. Techniques like planning poker encourage discussion and shared understanding of complexity and effort, leading to more accurate estimates and greater alignment. By fostering an environment of collaborative decision-making, the Scrum Master helps the team leverage its diverse skills to reach common ground, improving planning efficiency and team cohesion without resorting to authoritarian measures. This builds trust and shared ownership among team members. Question 25. A project manager has inherited an ongoing Agile project where the customer is expressing frustration because they feel their priorities are not being adequately reflected in the delivered increments. The product owner insists they are following the product backlog. What is the most likely cause of this disconnect in an Agile context? A. The customer is not attending the daily stand-up meetings. B. The product owner is not effectively engaging the customer in product backlog refinement and sprint reviews. C. The development team is not adequately estimating the user stories. D. The project management office, PMO, has imposed too many bureaucratic processes. Answer: B. The product owner is not effectively engaging the customer in product backlog refinement and sprint reviews. In Agile, continuous customer collaboration is paramount to ensure value is delivered. If a customer feels their priorities are not reflected, it often points to a breakdown in their engagement with the product owner. The product owner is responsible for maximizing the value of the product by effectively managing the product backlog and ensuring it reflects stakeholder needs. This requires active engagement in product backlog refinement, where priorities are discussed and ordered, and sprint reviews, where feedback on delivered increments is gathered and incorporated. Without this continuous collaboration, misalignment can easily occur.